Oh, 30 more seconds. Sorry. And this is WMNF Tampa. You're tuned into the live music showcase here on Friday afternoon. I'm your host for today, Ed Lehman, and I am delighted to welcome back to the studio Chuck Brodsky. Welcome back.
Thank you, Ed. It's nice to be here.
It's been a what about 4 years, I think, since the last time you were here, or
Seems about
something like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, great, and we're just really happy to have you back. And without further ado, let's go into the first song.
Okay.
After 3 or 4 tries, I poked out his eyes. That's how I got him to see. To get him to hear, I screamed in his ear. I gave him the 3rd degree. I sharply berated him. I told him I hated him. I wasn't very kind. I shouted and cussed until I won his trust. That's how I changed his mind. I shunned him, ignored him, I wouldn't look toward him. I only would give him my back. I accused him of lies I would not compromise. I erased him after the fact. I was abrupt, I would often interrupt. We were volatile when combined. And in stating my case, I blew up in his face. Well, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. Now this man was an ass. I was gonna let him pass, let him take a wide berth of me. But I was right and he was wrong, like I was telling him all along, trying to just get him to see. But he's a this and I'm a that, so we couldn't have a chat of the friendly and civilized kind. Round after round, I just ground him down. That's how I changed his mind. I stomped on his toes and I punched him in the nose. I was using irony. So sure of the truth, I knocked out his tooth. I kicked him twice in the knee. I won over his heart with a poisonous dart, and you should have seen me unwind, being overly cruel with ridicule. Oh, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. I blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. So I called him a fool, challenged him to a duel, threw my white glove in his face. 20 paces and I shot, and I must have hit the spot. Anyway, that's how I pleaded my case. Well, I won in the end after making him bend, and after all the papers were signed. In the end, I won, that's how it was done. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. I blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. Yes, I blamed him, shamed him, I might have even maimed him. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind.
Live here in the live music studio, it's Chuck Brodsky with his method of interacting with other people whose opinion differ. Now, do you recommend that method, or?
Well, absolutely. It can convince anybody to change their mind
Well,
of anything.
That's a tough thing to do. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a song from one of your most recent albums called "Half the People."
Oh, yeah.
And that kind there. I don't think there was any maiming in that other song. But
No, I don't maim in every song.
there you go. Not a frequent maimer. Oh, excellent. So, Chuck Brodsky live here at the WMNF studios, and we're just so happy to have you back. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And of course, I'm wearing this baseball cap in honor of your affinity to baseball, for which you've written lots and lots of songs.
23 now.
23. And you performed some of them at some Baseball Hall of Fame, I believe.
I had an amazing experience last July. The Philadelphia Phillies reached out to me and invited me to come to Cooperstown during induction weekend to sing a song I had written about Dick Allen. I wrote the song 30 years ago, and Dick Allen was just posthumously inducted into the Hall of Fame in July. So it was an amazing experience. It was a private team party. It had all sorts of Hall of Famers there and former Phillies players that I grew up watching, and it was a real pinch me experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I also understand that they archived all these songs in this Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So people can go there and actually listen to your songs there.
You would have to go to the research department where there's a sound recording library, and all of my songs are in there.
Excellent, excellent. So why don't you give us another song, and we'll come back and chat a little bit afterwards.
I have a brand new one. I'd like to
Oh,
sing.
excellent.
I think I smell an unwashed brain, a dirty, stinking, unwashed brain. Reason and logic are swirling down the drain, but I think I smell an unwashed brain. One that isn't stuck inside a dream, one that doesn't cheerlead for the team, one that can remain somewhat aloof, one that wouldn't judge without some proof, one that doesn't just play back the tape, one that's managed so far to escape without being reprogrammed and retooled, one that isn't easily fooled. I think I smell an unwashed brain, a dirty, stinking, unwashed brain. Reason and logic are swirling down the drain, but I think I smell an unwashed brain. One that hasn't fallen into line, one that's still attached to a spine, one you can't just pick up and whine, one that's not afraid to speak its mind, one that looks at both sides of the coin and all around the edges where they join, one that questions everything it reads and can separate the talking from the deeds. I think I smell an unwashed brain, your dirty, stinking, unwashed brain. Reason and logic are swirling down the drain, but I think I smell an unwashed brain, whose mind isn't already made up, who'd listen and not always interrupt, one that would be curious to know all there is and what makes it so, one that says no thank you to the soap and travels with its trusty microscope, looking for anything that might be real, not afraid of what it might reveal. I think I smell an unwashed brain, your dirty, stinking, unwashed brain. Reason and logic are swirling down the drain, but I think I smell an unwashed brain, I think I smell an unwashed brain. Your dirty, stinking, unwashed brain. Reason and logic are swirling down the drain, but I think I smell an unwashed brain. I think I smell an unwashed brain. I think I smell your unwashed brain.
Brand new song here on the Live Music Showcase from Chuck Brodsky. Thank you for sharing new music. When are you going to put that out on an album?
I have a date booked in the recording studio back in Asheville, North Carolina, where I live, for March 30th, and I hope to get 4 or 5, maybe 6 songs down, and we'll see after that. But I think I'm going to do this album really stripped down, just me and my guitar, so I don't think it'll take as long as a normal studio project might. So I'm aiming for sometime late spring, I guess.
Oh, great. Looking forward to that.
Thank you.
So you mentioned Asheville. You live in Asheville, and when Helene came through, it devastated that area that you're in, and I understand you experienced some landslides on your own property. And tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, I know you guys are experienced with hurricanes here, but for a hurricane to strike inland, North Carolina was a very fluke thing. I was in Scotland up until the day before, and I'd been reading all week long about this impending hurricane. They were calling for catastrophic wind and rain, and I'd never heard those terms ever used before in a weather report for anywhere I lived. So I got back the night before, and the next morning I noticed one small landslide that had happened that was causing a bunch of mud to stream down towards my drainage grates. I live on the side of a mountain in the woods. That caused water to pool up by the drainage grate and start spilling over the edge of the hillside, and I tried to channel that water with some rocks to a different spot, and I was successful, but because of the fact that we had already gotten 25 inches of rain over 3 days, the ground was completely saturated, and all that water pooling up and spilling off the edge caused a massive landslide, about between 50 and 100 feet wide and 200 feet long, all the way down to the road below, took everything out in its path, and left my deck very vulnerable. The support posts were at the edge and have since, now they protrude beyond the edge. Oh. I managed to get the deck supported with some new posts within 3 or 4 days of the hurricane. I don't know how I was that lucky, but there was a crew available. So it took me 17 months to raise the funds to have the repairs done. The overall cost of just that one landslide is about $200,000, and Wow. There was about $50,000 more damage to the property, but I can live with that for now. But I was just awarded $100,000 by Samaritan's Purse charity organization, and that was the remaining money I needed. So we're on schedule. The work should start in about 3 weeks and should be finished the beginning of June, and I'm very relieved.
I'll bet, yeah.
Every day my deck hasn't fallen has been a miracle, no lie.
I can appreciate that. And it's really telling that, in your situation that people in the community donated and helped in other ways. And that human connection that these disasters sometimes bring out the best in us is really touching.
It was amazing, Ed. It was really amazing and heartwarming. I knew that my situation didn't qualify for any of the aid that was initially offered by FEMA or any of the other organizations. The odd circumstances of my landslide, because the house itself wasn't damaged, even though the landslide was within a few feet of the house, and if it doesn't get stabilized, the house one day would fall. But I fell through the cracks in the system. And it wasn't until much, much later that money was made available for things like what I was dealing with, although they were so restrictive in these policies. They have this clause, a non-duplication of benefits clause, which means you can't add to the money that they're giving you. And in my case, the damage was over $200,000, but the maximum award was $50,000.
Oh,
And I did a GoFundMe that raised $60,000, but they wouldn't let me add the $60,000 to their $50,000.
that's
It's
crazy.
ridiculous rules. And then another organization had similar restrictions, and their policy was that if your damage was deemed by them to be in excess of $100,000, which mine was, the only options they offered were demolishing your house and building a new one, which wouldn't have been as nice, and that was ridiculous. But I was assigned a wonderful caseworker by the state, and he was very proactive on my behalf, and he found this money for me. And thankfully it came through. I was told about a month ago that they're giving it to me, and have already paid the 10% down to the contractor, and he's already done some preliminary work on the property, so it's going to happen.
Sounds good.
So I'm one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, the damage through all of Asheville is just unbelievable. I couldn't wrap my head around it. So let's get to another song.
Yeah, and in fact, it's uncanny that you asked that question right now, because I have a song that I wrote about the hurricane that I was planning on playing right now, and you led me into it perfectly. I want to just mention that this is a song I had no intention of ever sharing when I started to write it. I don't normally write for my own, to heal through something, to work through something, but other people do, and there's nothing wrong with it, and I did it in this case. I just started writing to process what I had experienced, because in the aftermath, the PSTD is real, and it's severe. Every time it's windy, every time it's raining hard, I'm petrified that more trees are going to fall, because the root systems were disturbed, the soil structures were changed by all of that rain. We've been told this by the geologists. So I started to write this song for my own healing purposes, and after I got a few lines, or maybe even a verse into it, I realized that everybody in my area feels this, and so it compelled me to finish the song and to ultimately share it. Well, then it turns out that somebody in Asheville put together an entire album of songs written by Asheville artists who lived through the hurricane and wrote songs about it. And the proceeds from this album are all going towards local hurricane relief efforts. The album is called After the Flood, and this was my contribution to it.
I used to love the sound on the roof of the rain. Now it's playing tricks with my brain. I'm hearing helicopters and planes. I keep looking at the weather vane. I used to love the sound of the rain coming down before 25 inches fell on my town. And what's left of it was all muddy brown. Now the rain makes a frightening sound. I used to love the sound of the wind in the trees. It was like God was jingling his keys. Now it makes me nervous and ill at ease, even the gentlest breeze. Those tall trees up on the hill, I wonder if they'll come down still. There's no telling if or when they will. You just never know until. I used to love to drive the river road where the Swananoa gently flowed. But it's still too soon and it's still too raw, and I can't unsee anything I saw. Ought to be safe on a mountainside. Ought to be a good place to hide from an epic flood or too high a tide till the land gets drunk and starts to slide. And afterward the sky was blue. What had happened, no one knew. I wiped the mud off of my face, grateful to still have a place. And every night when the sun went down, it got dark all over town, pitch black and hardly a sound, except for the sound of the wind and the rain. They're still playing tricks with my brain.
Wow. Chuck Brodsky and sharing new music with us. Thank you for sharing that. And it just really landed in my chest there, because I have a place up in North Carolina on the mountainside as well. And I know that feeling of, oh my God, is that tree going to come down after all these rains? And we didn't get it nearly as badly as Asheville did at that point. But I can certainly relate to it, and that the emotion that comes through in that song is very powerful. Thank you for sharing that new song. And this is Live Music Showcase here on WMNF. Chuck Brodsky here, and if you want to see him live, there's a couple of opportunities. Let me just get my little note here and tell you that you can. You've got a show tonight in Brooksville at the Sparcia Witherell Winery. Location is 21509 Snow Hill Road in Brooksville. That's tonight. And then Saturday at the Jack Kerouac House here in St. Pete. So 2 opportunities to see Chuck Brodsky here in the Bay Area. And I've been told that you make an annual visit to Clearwater here every year. Is that connected with baseball by any chance?
It is. I grew up in Philadelphia, and that's where the Phillies have their spring training complex. And my dad has been coming down for about 40 years, and I started joining him about 20 years ago. And we go to about 5 games. He couldn't come down this year. I think he's not able to do it anymore, unfortunately. He's 92 now. So the tradition continues without him. And I like to play 3 or 4 shows in the greater Tampa Bay area and catch about 5 games every year.
Sounds good. So your dad, I guess, is the one who probably got you into the love of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming here.
Yeah, he took me to a lot of games when I was a kid, all the various sports. He had season tickets to the hockey team in Philadelphia for 43 years, and the company he worked for had season tickets to the Phillies back in the day, back in the 60s, and the team was terrible, and the stadium was in an awful neighborhood, so nobody else ever wanted the tickets, and he could get them at will, and took me to lots and lots of Phillies games as a kid, and that's nice. It's something that my parents and I have to share together. You know, every day we talk about the Phillies. It's fun.
Excellent. So, baseball, and you just mentioned hockey. Didn't you play a little hockey yourself?
Yeah, I played a lot of hockey myself. I played into my 40s.
Oh, wow.
And I'd still be playing if the local rink hadn't shut down, but it did. Oh. It shut down almost 30 years ago, and that was the end of my hockey playing days.
So what was your position?
I was the goalkeeper.
Oh, goal! Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You got to wear the
all the gear,
gear, the mask, and all that.
Yeah,
and
I loved it.
Yeah.
When I lived in the San Francisco Bay Area, besides playing music, I wasn't quite professional as a musician yet, but I was playing a handful of shows a year. But I would play 3 or 4 open mics a year. But the ice time that we had, I played for 2 different teams at the same time, and our ice time was generally 10:45 at night. So I'd be on the ice maybe 6 nights a week, but then I'd sing my songs early, and I'd go to the rink and play from 10:45 till 12:30 or whatever time we had the ice until. And that was a routine for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, it took That took a lot of energy to do that.
When I was younger, I had it.
That happens to us, huh? All right, well, why don't we hear another song?
Okay. I wrote this song at a songwriting retreat in Michigan. I was given the assignment to write a song where I'd be swearing off of the manic pixie dream girl.
I used to fall for girls who smoked, drank, and told off colored jokes. Had that certain kind of look. Just a nose ring was all it took. The ones that had that certain spunk, kind of girlish and kind of punk. The girls you make excuses for as you lead them out the door. I used to like them fancy free, the way they would pretend to be. They wore all black, they had long hair, they acted like they didn't care. Full of beans, a great big blur. You used to fall for girls like her. They couldn't possibly all be true. 500 words when 10 would do. Fall for girls like that who'd work the mic, play the strat, whose stomachs were completely flat. They would complain that they were fat. The kind of girls I would pursue, I made them up, they became true. I think I married one or two. They made me tea and they wrote haiku. I was always drawn to the manic kind who would say whatever was on their minds. Girls like that sunk all my ships carelessly with their loose lips. And yet for one enchanted kiss I'd betray myself. For girls like this, a wild-eyed star tattoo, little crazy were a few. Girls like those, they have their charms, red flags and loud alarms. I loved her when they were in my arms, and I swear my love was true. Well, now it takes a little more to turn me on than it did before. Certain things I can't ignore, certain things I do. Used to fall for girls who dance in tie-dye shirts and drawstring pants, who bang on drums and don't eat meat, walk around in their bare feet. With girls like that, it wouldn't last, not even 1/2 minute past. The moment that the clock struck 12, they'd leave me dancing with myself. Opposites at times attract, like chemicals they can react. Girls who once appealed to me now don't seem so real to me. Girls like those, they have their charms, red flags and loud alarms. I loved it when they were in my arms, and I swear my love was true. Now it takes a little more to turn me on than it did before. Certain things I can't ignore, certain things I do.
Excellent tune. Here on the Live Music Showcase, Chuck Brodsky sharing his music with us and experiences. And, we kind of touched on it a little bit that generally your songs, I see you as a consummate storyteller. That when I think of your music, your songs, it's a storyteller kind of approach to things. I think you sort of mentioned that you don't do a lot of songs about necessarily your personal feelings, but you tell stories.
I love telling stories, but that's not the only type of song I write.
Right.
But when I come across a great story, I just love stories. I love great stories, and when I come across one that moves me, I figure if I can put it into songs well enough, then maybe it'll move somebody else as well. If I can tell that same story in song form. So that's my motivation, just to touch people with these great stories in the same way that I got touched by them in the first place.
Exactly, and it can be very powerful, that connection, because we see our commonality then with other people and their feelings and how things happen, and it's just very powerful, and I love a good story. So bring more stories. That's great for me. So let me ask you one other thing about touring. You toured extensively in your 40-year career. You've been all over the place. You've been to England. You do tours to Ireland.
Ireland and Scotland.
And you've been as far in the European continent to Lithuania?
Yeah, I was invited to play a festival that was mostly in Lithuania, but they also took us to Riga in Latvia for a night to spread the festival around. And they took us to a couple of small villages in Lithuania. So it was about 5 or 6 days long, and they moved the musicians around, and maybe 4 or 5 of the artists would play each of the little venues, and then on the weekend everybody came back to Vilnius, the capital, for the big shows. It was a really unique, incredible experience. The festival is called Tai Ash, and it translates to the Festival of the Bard. And I had no idea the bardic traditions that exist in Eastern Europe. They are so strong. So all of the other musicians on the bill were from places like Russia or Lithuania, Latvia, people who were singing in their own languages, and I couldn't understand, but I could feel the passion. It was a mirror image of what our concerts are like and what our performers are like. It's just that I was frustrated at not being able to pick up on the artistry of their songwriting. But the world, this little niche world that we love, the singer-songwriter world, the folky kind of singer-songwriter world, is very strong in Eastern Europe, and I had no idea.
Huh. So how would you compare audiences over there to audiences here? Is there,
I think it was the exact same scene. Really.
Okay, interesting.
The stages were set the same, the lighting was similar, the gear was the same, the musicians interacted with their audiences, even though it was in another language that I couldn't understand. They were interacting with their audiences in the same way that we might, and the responses, it was just like being at a concert here. It was the exact same experience.
Wow.
And it was very eye-opening to learn that this kind of music was so popular there, just within their own languages, which is even cooler to me, because I have known of many European songwriters who write in English and not their own language because they're trying to be commercially successful. But I appreciate the ones even more who write in their own language.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds really interesting. I might have to follow you on tour sometime, like a Grateful Dead guy, but for the Chuck Brodsky guy.
Well, the Ireland and Scotland tours are group tours.
Ah, okay.
They're not. That's not me going over and playing shows. That's me taking 22 people over for really fun music tours where other people play. I actually do 2 private concerts on each tour for the groups, but we have the cream of the crop major league artists in both Ireland and Scotland that play private concerts for our groups. And other nights we go to pubs and hear the traditional music as well. And then during the day we have our own bus and a full-time guide. And so I do that every summer. I have room for 2 more couples for my Scotland tour. If anybody out there is interested, you can find the details at chuckbrodsky.com. It's August 28th to September 7th, my Scotland tour. So
Excellent. So let's hear another song.
okay, here's another brand new one.
Truth is illegal, they're stamping it out. Can't read it, can't write it, can't say it out loud. But you know, in the end, that it's bound to prevail. But for the time being, it's only for sale. The truth is illegal, they passed a new law. You aren't allowed to have seen what you saw. You could get locked up for 6,000 years, so cover your eyes and plug up your ears. Facts are irrelevant, truth is composed, filtered and sanitized, underexposed, polished and scripted, fully approved. What is inconvenient gets scrubbed and removed. Truth is illegal, so stories are told. Monsters and villains cast from a mold. It's a very tall ask to pretend that they're true and to censor yourself before they censor you. The truth is illegal. The truth is illegal. This isn't a drill. It's guarded by soldiers with orders to kill. Bloggers and journalists, teachers beware. Writers and poets, speak out if you dare. The truth is illegal, but if it pokes through, or if you uncover it, pity for you. 'Cause even with proof, it just isn't true. It's utterly false, maybe embarrassing too. Is illegal, it isn't allowed. You're being recorded and stored in the cloud. So whatever you say, it better not be true. There might be somebody listening to you.
Brand new music from Chuck Brodsky right here on the Live Music Showcase here on WMNF. We've coming up to the latter end of the show, and I need to mention that we have a little process here called the AMA, Ask Musicians Anything. So if you want to send a note to DJ at WMNF, and Charlie, our board op, will forward that to us, and we'll ask the question of our guest performer today. And we really like weird questions, so we kind of encourage that. And I hope that's okay. You don't mind weird questions.
If you don't mind weird answers.
we love the weird answers, especially. So let me give credit where credit is due here on Live Music Showcase. It's all volunteers that make the show possible. And we have Pam Robinson as our audio engineer with a little help from Mark Perfetti. Lisa Reuter, she's our video director for today. On cameras, we've got Sage Botel. I did it right, didn't I? And who we got over there? Oh, we got Alexis Thompson. And also our board op, as I mentioned, is Charlie Cushing. And give us an email here at dj@wmnf.org. And we'll forward your questions to Chuck Brodsky live here in the WMNF studios. So without further ado, let's hear another tune.
Okay. I wrote the song at the beginning of the pandemic. I was down here in mid-March as things began shutting down. I got the last of my concerts in. I drove back to North Carolina, drove up my long snaking driveway to the top, knowing I wouldn't be back down for a long time. And you know, everybody was saying it was probably going to be about 2 years before concerts started happening. So I wondered if I'd have a career left, if the venues would be still there. Would I ever see my parents again? Would I ever see my friends again? Would I survive this? A lot of questions. And I decided, since nobody knew any answers, I was going to write a song as if this could be the very last song I might ever write. So what would I want to say in that one song? And it's called If This Is It.
If this is it, the blink of an eye, and there's no time to say goodbye, I'll just leave a little note that you might read the words I wrote. If this is it, 'cause you just don't know, you have no say when it's your time to go. I wish you joy, I wish you peace. If for one of us all should cease, this too perhaps will someday pass. But if this should be our parting glass, may it go down smooth, may it leave you warm, till we meet again in another form. And if the road has run out, I hope somewhere a seed will sprout that I might have dropped and never knew. Maybe I planted it someplace for you. So if this is it, and my work is done, and I don't finish what I've begun, I let them go, just like balloons, the unsung words and the unplayed tunes. My aim was true, every verse I wrote, every chord I struck, every single note, every mile I drove was to come see you. There's no such thing as just passing through. So if this is it, my last song, it's meant to be sung just before the dawn, when you still see stars and it's getting light and you're ready to call it We'll see stars. It's getting light. You ready to call it? Pretty good night.
Wow, that's a beautiful song. That's brand new. That's coming
No,
up on
that's
you.
on the last album I put
Oh,
out.
okay,
So it's
okay.
probably wrote it in April of 2020.
Oh, okay. Right after all that
Yeah.
fun stuff with the pandemic was happening. We did get a couple of notes on email from David Bryant. He says, Chuck is really awesome, and it's always a treat to hear him on WNF during spring training time.
Thank
I
you.
liked his song about people he disagrees with, especially the part on dueling. So that's still a thing. So we had a message from a phone number, not a name, and he says, what does he say? Can you spell Jack's last name for me? You're not Jack. Oh, he meant the Kerouac house, which is, I believe, as he has it here, Kerouac. And again, if people want information on your shows, you've got one tonight in Brooksville, one in Saturday at the Jack Kerouac house. Where can they go to get more information?
They could go to chuckbrodsky.com, and Brodsky has a Y at the end of it. And if they look on top menu where it says concerts, click on that and it'll take you to the info for both tonight's show in Brooksville, which is actually at the Peacock Theater. But the Peacock Theater has moved from a place called The Farm to this winery, and I can't pronounce it, but I know you have it in front of you.
Where is it? Where is it? It's
Winery.
right here. Sparacia?
Sparacio Witherell Winery.
Right, okay.
So that's tonight,
Interesting.
and tomorrow is at the Jack Kerouac House in St. Pete. And then Sunday I have a private house concert in just north of Tampa. But again, that's a private show. But
Excellent. So we've got about 9 more minutes.
Okay.
And for folks who are watching on Facebook, I might mention that even though at the top of the hour, at 1 minute past the top of the hour, we go to NPR News, we'll continue to broadcast on Facebook, and you'll get to hear extra content, bonus content, for a little bit. And, we got one more message. So check us out on Facebook, and it'll also come up on YouTube. And let's see, we've got a message, a listener comment from Jeff, who says, my girlfriend Chrissy and I went to Ireland with Chuck last summer, and it was a great trip seeing sights and their music. Fun to check out a new land with other music enthusiasts. And
thank you, Jeff.
that sounds really good to me, too. So we've probably got time for a couple more songs.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and have you do another song.
I have another brand new one for you.
Excellent.
When I take all, loser gets none. That's the deal, says the guy who won. Maybe just for spite, maybe just for fun. Might have been a little blackmail, might have been a gun. When I take all, the entire crop, every little morsel, the very last drop, take from the bottom, give to the top. Everything must go at the mom and pop. All for one for all. The most beautiful graffiti I ever saw. Where there never used to be a wall. All for one for all. All for one for all. Winner take all, none for the rest. They shout from the pews in the Sunday best, praying for the sick, praying on the poor, and damn them all if they ask for more. Winner take all that they can afford. Their new Messiah strikes a chord. He worships money, praises the sword. He bullies everyone, even the Lord. All for one, one for all. The most beautiful graffiti I ever saw. Where there never used to be a wall. All for one, one for all. All for one, one for all. A winner take all. Let the losers weep. Let them cry themselves to sleep. The price of freedom has gotten steep. Everything's expensive, but life is cheap. A winner take all, leave no crumbs. That's the song that the heartless hums. It's nothing but selfish, it's nothing but mean, and it makes no difference which way you lean. All for one, one for all. The most beautiful graffiti I ever saw. Where there never used to be a wall. All for one, one for all. All for one, one for all. All for one, one for all. The most beautiful graffiti I ever saw. Where there never used to be a wall. All for one, one for all. All for one, one for all. All for one, one for all.
Brand new music from Chuck Brodsky here on Live Music Showcase. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on Facebook, stay tuned because at the top of the hour, we'll do one more song as bonus content. And Chuck, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your music. Especially love hearing the new music. And that song was so on point. This is WMNF Tampa. And Chuck, would you like to take us out with one more song?
I would. I just have to retune really quickly. But I wanna sing a song that I wrote 45 years ago. It's kind of incredible that it's still in my repertoire.
Coming up next is the NPR News here on WMNF Tampa.
I want to sing this song for my friends Joel and Donna.
Well, I hope I see you later, 'cause it's time for me to go. That's my ride that just pulled over, and it sure was good to know you. So go answer your calling. Go and fill somebody's cup. And if you see an angel falling, won't you stop, help them up? We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. Keep each other going, and we show each other signs. Sometimes you stumble, sometimes you just lie down. Sometimes you'll get lonely with all these people around. You might shiver when the wind blows, and you might get blown away. You might lose a little color, you might lose a little faith, but we are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, we show each other signs. So thank you for the water, but I was gonna die out here in the desert, but you quenched my thirst. Let's break a little bread together, got a little manna. It was a gift, someone who was passing by and offered me a lift. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, we show each other signs.
Beautiful song. Got one more listener comment from Rick in Sarasota. He says he's really enjoying the show today. This man is a fabulous songwriter. Thanks for turning me on to Chuck Brodsky. And thank you for sharing your music with us here on Live Music Showcase.
I appreciate you guys having me.
And I hope you come back sooner than another 4 years, right? Come back a little sooner.
I'd love to.
And that's our show for today. Thank you for joining us. Go out there, see some live music, and wear your baseball cap. See you next week.